Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of Sunday, April 29th through Saturday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in between this week. On the 1st, there's May Day. On the 29th, there is a Hebrew celebration that's called basically the second Passover for those who didn't have an opportunity to participate the month before because they had deemed themselves unclean. If you want to learn what I mean by that, check out the general. It's also the feast day of Saint Joseph this week. Saint Joseph the Worker, specifically, connected, similar to International Workers' Day and May Day to labor, and to him being the patron of labor and workers, having even taught Jesus to be a carpenter. He was like a blue collar guy, right? Saint Joseph. And in the general, the theme of work and putting in the work for what we want to come out is huge in the general reading. What else? There was a bunch of stuff with the astrology too that I went over. The biggest thing would be Sunday, the 29th, the first day for which this reading is, Scorpio. Full moon in Scorpio. That's happening. I don't recall anything else, and I didn't look anything else up in advance. So again, if you want to know what's happening this week, check out the general. Oh, there's the feast day of Saints Philip and James too. James the Lesser, as opposed to James the Greater. Both were apostles named James, but one is John's brother, James and John, the sons of thunder, and the other is this one, who is not that person. Okay, now I really think that may be it. So I'm going to start with the dice. And weekend away. Maybe people are turning up for Cinco de Mayo. Try again. And speaking of turning up, party. Spirit says stay in bed. 29 and no. And I think the try again, the message was coming in as I was shaking up the dice. Try again is for like relationships. It could be friendships, but I guess this is the love reading, so I guess more so it is romantic connections, or we can begin as friends, right? It's always best that we begin as friends. Or have some sort of foundation of true, genuine friendship. So try again. Like it didn't work out, you made a go of it, and you're considering, should we get back together? Should we try to revisit or whatever? Try again. This time, put the work in. You got to both be willing to, do the work. 50-50. It's 50-50. Okay. I'm going to start my Lover's Path Tarot. I was in the mood to read reversals today, but I'm beginning with the Ace of Arrows upright, Ace of Swords. This could be about truth coming out. This is about victory. It's a new beginning that may have been difficult getting to, which I don't even think is worth mentioning. I think the fact that something is a new beginning, or situation is starting anew and fresh, it's a new opportunity. We're trying again. It's a new opportunity. Like, why mention the struggle and remain stuck in that energy and wallow in that? That's not me, but that's what the card has the potential to mean. It can also mean like ending something, cutting somebody or something out of your life with the sword. And opening to the Eight of Arrows in reverse. So maybe having had a false sense of being trapped and stuck, and then realizing, oh, I could just stand up and walk right out of here, and then I won't be. Ace of Swords upright. Three of Arrows or Three of Swords upright. There's going to be some hurt, pain, or we're recovering from some hurt, pain, and maybe revisiting a relationship post some hurt, pain. This card also came up in the general reading. So it is reoccurring, and I saw it several times as I was shuffling not only this, but the other deck, the Angel Tarot, for this reading as well. We have it here opposite the Ace of Swords. So again, there could have been some truth that came out And sometimes the truth hurts. For others, you know, where there's a winner, there's a loser. This is a card of victory. This is a card of loss. Ace of Arrows. And the King of Cups upright. Beautiful. Like to see the King of Cups upright. This is one guy you don't want to see, you know, topsy-turvy. The King of Cups is perhaps a Scorpio, like this week's full moon, a Pisces or Cancer, or someone likened to these traits or attributes, which is very much in control of his emotions, but aware of the fact that he has them, and exudes, you know, an awareness of emotion and the fact that he has them. Other people know too, but he's not like, you know, whining or crying all over himself or anything like that. They're in check. He's also very romantic and charitable, giving, loving. There could be a new beginning in love. Again, we're trying again, maybe. So it was difficult getting here. Our last go at this relationship sucked. But we got a new start in love. That could be. There could be a new start at something specifically with a water sign. Maybe a water sign and an air sign. And there could be victory in an area, you know, that makes somebody extremely emotionally happy as it relates to love and you know, romance and relationships. Ace of Arrows. I'll go one more. It's the Three of Staves in reverse. Somebody may have walked away from a party of three. Party of three may have come to an end. Maybe a party of three involving a direct fire sign, but not necessarily. Other than that, the Three of Staves or Wands can be about, when it's upright in particular, we're waiting for the last staff. We're waiting for that, you know, our ship to come in. We're building a foundation. We got 1 in, we got 2 in, we got 3 in. We need that one last stave in order to, you know, have a foundation that won't fall over. Sturdy. So waiting patiently for that last one to come in. But we have like faith that it came in. With the first one, we manifested the thought, right? We thought about it. We began to make it our reality. The second one, 2s represent faith. We have faith that this is really going to come to fruition. One day I'm really going to have this thing I want. In case of a love reading, relationship or something, situation, living situation that I want. Now the third one is here. I just need a little bit more patience. It's happening. As it relates to love, 3 of Staves in reverse. It's not a bad omen in general in reading the tarot. And I'd say for our purposes, again, it's even better because it can be about somebody having walked away from a party of 3, a love triangle. Maybe that's the victory, right? We finally overcome this. Or truth came out about it or something. I'm cutting. And it's the 7 of Wands in reverse. Now, 7 of Wands upright is about continuing the fight, like not letting anybody get you down. In reverse, this can be about being weary, or a situation where we felt we had to be on the defensive may have come to an end. This could be connected to, again, a party of 3, a love triangle that came to an end. We were having to like try to defend this and hold up this facade, right? And live this fake life. And now because that's ended, you know, so has the need for this, for, you know, to be on the defensive all the time. So we switch upside down, and that, you know, now we're on the offensive line. Overall energy is the 5 of coins in reverse. Better times ahead, right? A more prosperous life, a more abundant life ahead. Of course, in this case, it can be as it relates to money and material things and, you know, those things that we need in order to maintain ourselves and sustain ourselves in a relationship or even as individuals. But it can be abundance of love too, like better times ahead in the areas of love and romance. No longer that feeling of having been abandoned, of lacking, of being literally like left out in the cold. This woman was, right? She's walking in the snow with her baby. She doesn't even have a coat on. No longer feeling that way. I'm going to do the first spread from the perspective of the divine masculine, get an idea of what he and his higher self are feeling in our regard this week. Divine feminine and her higher self about her. The masculine about her, about himself, and the union. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine do toward the union this week, what he himself is willing to, what the universe would have the two do, and the outcome. Divine feminine. 6 of Cups in reverse. Some of us on that try again, or at least we're thinking, we're feeling that if we get that request to try again, or if we try to reach out, it's already in our mind that it's not going to go right. It's not going to look right. If we try to revisit something from the past, even childhood, could be, you know, like a high school sweetheart or something. We're thinking it's not going to work if we try to revisit. This is the masculine. In our regard, he's thinking, he's in hermit mode. He's seeking enlightenment. He's going within. What do I really want? Let me not waste her time this week. Right? Hashtag don't waste my time 2018. This may be a Virgo in particular, or somebody who's feeling very earth-like, very grounded. Otherwise, with the exception of, you know, the fact that they want clarity. They want clarity. They want enlightenment. They want to further understand themselves and their needs, and those of the object of their affection. And those of the object of the affection is, again, right now, that she is very cynical, right? That she feels limited by her past. Her past is holding her back. Maybe like her connection or her desire for this love from the past, and it just hasn't seemed to materialize, and so that's what she's hung up on. There could be also an instance, because Scorpio, again this week, the Scorpio full moon, and that energy of death that Scorpio represents is about our need to let go of something so something else can come in. So there could be some of that too, like holding on to these dreams and hopes and wishes from the past, and that has not only made us cynical, but it's like occupied our energy. It's you know, invaded our space and consumed it. So I think he's feeling that too. And hopefully that won't scare him away. The masculine about himself this week. Prince of Cups. Now this is particularly interesting because I talked about something coming out about a baby in the general. So again, you may want to check that out. That said, the Prince of Cups is essentially the Knight of Cups. So he is romantic. He is like out of all the knights, and the Knight of Wands is definitely, you know, Prince Charming in my regard. He is the one that comes through and like swoops up and grabs you and keeps going on the horse. He doesn't even stop the horse. He just keeps going. He's definitely that one. And I've experienced one of those. So I you know, that's from where I speak. I dated a Sagittarius. But the Knight of Cups is the one that stands beneath your window and serenades you and tells you how much he loves you and makes a proposal, like something that's concrete and serious. He's not just, Captain Save a Chick. He, he's got real plans that he wants to make with you. He's also a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, someone likened to those traits or attributes. In this case, again, very romantic and wanting to make some sort of proposal, a date, commitment, maybe even marriage, or just even, can we talk? Girl, I want to know your name, that sort of thing. Like, can we get to know each other? But in a genuine way. About the union as a whole. The Eight of Cups in reverse. I want to stick around. The Eight of Cups upright can be about the desire to like maybe we should just move on. Now, moving on can be moving on together too. Absolutely. And it can be moving on away from each other. And a lot of times in a lot of decks, not in this one, there is a happy couple rolling around on the beach. But in a lot of decks, it is somebody that is literally like walking away. The Eight of Cups upright. This one, it's like, I'm not searching for anything else. This is, where I want to be. Right? When it's upright, it's like, I'm looking for something. I feel I'm missing something. I feel empty in this area. I'm looking for something stronger, more intense, more meaningful. But here it's like, I'm like, I don't need to search for anything else. Everything I want is right here. Overall, Innocence, Major Arcana card, Innocence, or the Fool in reverse. Now, upright, this is about taking a leap of faith on a brand new path that one has never walked before. And in reverse, this can be about holding back. Now, we already talked about the feminine being a cynic, and that she may be holding back, even if she doesn't realize it, like her energy. If her energy is restrictive and a block, then she will block the masculine out. If her energy is like a wall that she's put up, then, he may not jump over it. Again, he's thinking about it. But to the positive, what this can mean here is, since the Fool upright is about a path that's brand new, that we've never walked before, in reverse, it can be for those of us, again, that are making some sort of second attempt to a resurgence of a relationship, to get back together, to try again. We've been down this road. It's somewhat familiar. We can change it. We should change it. We don't want to repeat the same mistakes and stuff, but we've been down this road together. And so I consciously want to walk down that road again. What would the masculine have the feminine do toward the union this week? Princess of Arrows in reverse. Princess of Arrows or Swords upright. She can be sort of slick talking and pessimistic and not taking you seriously, and I'm feeling that that's what the masculine doesn't want this week. The Princess of Arrows is a Gemini, first and foremost for me, typically. But I was getting something, I'm sorry. A Gemini, first and foremost, because it's the more youthful of the element, in this case of swords. but of course it can be an Aquarius or a Libra. And if it's not an actual person or a direct air sign in your life, somebody likened to these traits or attributes, then it can also be about, like, well, in reverse, the need to wait for news, or the fact that we're waiting for news. And it's like we're not clear, so he wants us to get clarity too. Like, we should be a little bit hermit ourselves and seek enlightenment as well. Like, the Page of Swords in reverse can be about, like, not understanding, not being clear, not having clarity, not lacking direction and focus. Yes, focus. That's the word I was looking for. You know how, like, air signs are all in the head, and Geminis, I joke that we, like, naturally have ADD, you know. In fact, I was talking to one recently via text or messenger or something, and all of a sudden I went away. He's like, why didn't you answer? What happened? What did I say? What did I do? And I'm like, you didn't do nothing. You know, we have ADD. And he's like, true, facts, you know. So it's like that. He would like her to seek clarity and also wait for the news. Like, don't give up. Don't be this cynic of, like, it's never coming, I'm not interested, or whatever. What is he himself willing to do? Judgment in reverse. And this is interesting because Judgment for me represents the sign of Pluto, which rules the sign of Scorpio. So for some of us, there can really be like a direct Scorpio, not just a direct water sign involved. Judgment in reverse as it relates to love. Oh, excuse me. Wait, you know when the sneeze is about to come out? I think it's going away. Judgment in reverse. I'm going to take something about judgment in reverse and put a positive spin on it. One of the things people might say about judgment in reverse, it can be about giving up control. And typically relinquishing our power to somebody else or something else, some other entity or energy, is not good. It's seen as a negative. But I think that it's about surrender this week. And surrender is what comes with a full moon, especially if we take advantage of the energy. Full moons, or moons in general, are about feminine energy, not masculine energy. Feminine energy. And for me, a step further, specifically feminine energy of surrender. So giving up control, relinquishing his control, to me, is relinquishing his control to the universe. So not in the sense that he's going to allow himself to be trampled over, you know, by somebody else or something, that he's letting go and letting God, as they say. And maybe whatever happens, happens. Another meaning for judgment in reverse can be about, it can be a sign of like stagnation, like we're stuck, we're blocked or whatever. And crossing his description of himself for the week, the Prince of Cups upright, I would say that in this placement, if there's a feeling of being blocked and stagnant, that's one of the things he also is willing to give up. Like, I'm ready to conquer this energy and get unstuck, get unblocked. But I mean, you know, maybe through some enlightenment, some clarity. I'd like to make some sort of move. So that's good too. And the universe, what would it have the two to do toward the union this week? The Queen of Wands in reverse. Now, for one thing, this Queen of Wands in reverse can be a part of the party of three, the love triangle that appeared to be coming to an end in the beginning as I was shuffling, because we had the Three of Staves. It was that was in reverse, specifically staves, like this queen. So it can be, again, maybe a direct fire sign that walks away from somebody, or a direct fire sign is walked away from. Of course, it can be any zodiac too, but the fact that it keeps coming out as wands. Also, in a more general sense, and as I think it would relate to what the universe wants us to do, the Queen of Staves in reverse can be about like, you're powerful, you're creative, right? You're fiery, right? And you're wasting that. Like, you're wasting your talents. That's the word I'm looking for. You're wasting your talents and your strengths, maybe because you feel powerless. But like, how could you? You're the Queen of Wands, is what the universe is saying here. The Queen of Wands, if she is a direct fire sign, which court cards and tarot often tend to be actual people, so she very well can be, is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, or again, maybe a Scorpio. Co-ruled along with Aries by Mars, the red planet. That's a possibility too. So maybe in that same vein, talking about the Three of Wands in reverse, somebody's walking away from a Scorpio, or or Scorpio is walking away from somebody too, and ending a party of three. The wands can also be showing up because, again, the connection, a connotation of a love triangle, because wands in the tarot are, the more phallic symbol out of all the others. So they're considered phallic. So what does the universe want us to do? Get your life. You have all these talents and all this power and, just fiery passions burning within you. Let them out. Use them, use them as your strengths. And the outcome. Wow. This is the moon. It's called illusion in this deck. But it's the moon. You know what? I'm going to read this one from the book. It's short, but because it's the outcome and this book has nice little stories, this one would be about Swan Lake. I don't know if you can see the swans here. I'll read it. I just want to make sure we see here. We do realize this is like Scorpio moon, right? The Scorpio full moon. Illusion. The lovers pictured here are Odette and Ivan. Princess Odette, heroine of the popular ballet Swan Lake, was cursed by a sorcerer to remain a swan forever except at night. The only way her enchantment could be broken was by a vow of eternal love. However, if this vow were broken, even by chance, she would die. When Prince Ivan met her, he promised to love her and to return to claim her as his bride. But the sorcerer tricked Ivan, and he soon heard a heart-wrenching cry in the distance, the cry of a dying swan. Ivan ran to rescue Odette, but it was too late. Meanings when this card is upright. Enchanted by love for better or worse. Confused by illusions that may or may not be real. Intense emotions. And the need to know what is real. Okay, so it's all very positive, but it is about coming into clarity, enlightenment, spending some time thinking about it. What do we want? And what are we willing to do? Are we really willing to commit? Are we really willing to commit and stick by our word and stick by, in our actions, right? Giving up control, relinquishing control, our actions mimicking what we say we're going to do. Because if not, then, you know, it dies. People end up heartbroken. So that's what this week is about, from the perspective of the masculine and his higher self. Better times ahead. Really putting some real thought and energy and work into the outcome, you know, of these relationships, into our actions, backing up our words with real action, committed action. Going to the Angel Tarot, beginning with the King of Fire, who is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. He's also a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, Scorpio. And it can also just be a representation of the divine masculine in the tarot. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. Opening to the Dreamer, which is the Fool again. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams. That leads to unexpected opportunities. I don't know if you noticed, I turned it around. There's no reversals in this deck, but I started with this card upside down, just like we had the Fool in reverse here in the other deck. King of Fire, the Ace of Water, upright, falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. For me, that doesn't have to physically be a new home, right? It can be, like, home is where the heart is. So just like it's, you can be the vessel, you can be the home. A relationship can be the new home. King of Fire. And opening to the Five of Fire, competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. Five of Fire can also represent for me like that aggressive, I'm taking action like at all costs. I'm just going for something. That really aggressive energy of Mars. And that can be where the masculine is, especially after what we just saw. Like he's willing to do whatever he's guided to do by the universe. Like, I give up, I let go, I surrender, unblock me. King of Fire. And strength. The strength that the universe wanted us both to use. The strength of the Queen of Fire. Shows up here. Major Arcana card strength represents the sign of Leo. But of course, it can just represent a fire sign in general, or any zodiac, any, you know, person can have this energy, hold this energy. Great inner strength, release harsh judgments. And isn't it funny? We had this card sitting atop judgment in the other spread. Instead, we're going to exercise some forgiveness and compassion. King of Fire and the Moon. Moon represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot, and our moon, Earth's moon in the sky, rules the sign of Cancer. But again, this week, the moon is all about Scorpio. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So again, the outcome of the last spread was the moon. It's called Illusion in the Lover's Path Tarot, but it was the moon. Upright. King of Fire. And life experience, or the Tower. Major Arcana card, the Tower. A significant life event, a powerful relation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. The Tower for me can also represent the sign of Scorpio. I'm going to cut. It can have to do with maybe the proposal that the masculine wants to make is moving in together. The Tower can have to do with the actual structure. It's also about energy that comes in really, really swiftly. You don't have time to, you know, think, plan for it. It hits you and you got to deal with it. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just something that shakes up our life, and that can be good sometimes. Especially if we don't do this. Manifest negativity into our life instead. Expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. This is kind of what I was feeling about the feminine with the Six of Cups in reverse. You know, that very cynical energy. That's what you're thinking about. That's what you're focused on. That's what you're going to bring in. I have to show you this. Again, there's no reversals in this deck. But the way that the cards ended up in my hand was the Five of Earth in reverse. The same way In the other deck, the Lover's Path Tarot, and the last spread, that was our overall energy, the 5 of Earth, of Pentacles, coins, in reverse. In that deck, there are reversals, and I said that that was like an end, that was more prosperous times to come. So I think that's what it means here too. Fears surrounding money is one thing that it can be, but this is the love reading. And I mean, we can have fears surrounding money, especially since we just saw the 9 of air. Somebody could be worrying about that and potentially manifesting that into their life. So if you're doing that, let go. But this can also be about the wisdom to accept help from others. It can be about something more positive too. And help from others can, you know, come in the form of, again, 50-50 in your relationship. And also be about uncertain self-employment. I don't think that necessarily applies here either. As it relates to relationships in general, when the 5 of Earth is upright, it's, you know, for me about like lack and fear of abandonment, fear of commitment and all that. So if the energy is in reverse, then you know, the opposite of that. I'm no longer fearing this abandonment. I'm gonna shake that off and throw caution to the wind and, you know, trust, have some faith in my mate. I'm gonna genuinely try again. I'm going to try again without the wall being in front of me. Crowning the masculine is the 10 of fire. So again, the end of a situation possibly involving a direct fire sign. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that causes stress-related health concerns. So this card is about it being at 50-50. Like we both got to share this burden. I can't carry this load on my back, you know, even if it's just like emotion or whatever. Again, remember feeling blocked, the masculine, feeling stuck, feeling limited, feeling stagnant. I can't be weighed down like this. I got to lay down this burden somewhere. Surrounding the masculine. Very nice. Things going on behind the scenes. Communication even. It's the 8 of fire. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. And many things are happening at once. For me, it's definitely movement. Even when I read it in others' spreads that are not a love spread. Often in the areas of love. And communication in the areas of love. I said we're waiting for news. The feminine was waiting for news with the page of air, page of swords in reverse. This can be the news that she's waiting for. The communication may come from the masculine, or she may receive some news that causes her to communicate with him. Because it reminds me of like Cupid's arrows being hurled, the 8 wands in the traditional tarot. In the masculine subconscious. Awakening. Major Arcana card, Awakening, which is the Hangman in the traditional tarot, represents the sign of Pisces and the planet Neptune for me, and is a party of 3 potentially situation. Maybe something having to do with the love triangles. But instead, what we're going to do is look at things from a different perspective. Okay, we're at a temporary standstill so that we can. There's like an air of suspension. Again, maybe we're waiting on news or something. In the meantime, it's important to be ourselves, to be honest, to be like that hermit, just genuinely decide and figure out what do I want, how do I want to go about getting it, how can I, you know, remain committed to it and back up my word and, keep the 100 and all that kind of stuff. Use that moment to do that movement, where that moment of limbo when nothing's happening. You use that time. Crowning the feminine. 2 of Earth. Too much going on at once. There's a need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So we want to shake off some of the heavy energy and be more Virgo-like if we're going to be of the suit of Earth, the element of Earth. Virgo, a mutable sign, so they're definitely the more youthful of the Earth element. This can be about all work and no play, making Jill a very dull girl. We got to learn how to balance like home life and work life, for example. Have time for ourselves and for our mate. Make time for ourselves and for our mate. Not just, our kids or our jobs and things like that. Finding balance in life. Also, balance in the relationship again. And you're in the same place in that vein. He doesn't want to carry the whole burden, and, you know, you're out of sorts too. You want it to be 50-50 also. So you can you know, meet somewhere in the middle on that. Surrounding the feminine. The Queen of Earth, who's thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. And also can be Venus herself for me, as the ruler of Taurus, you know, in addition to Libra and Gemini. This can also be an earth sign in your life, or somebody likened to these traits or attributes, who is thoughtful, creative, warm, and sensible. Make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. This can be about the need to nurture yourself as well, and other people too. So again, finding time for yourself, finding time for your mate. Sometimes those things are one and the same. Like, we just need time to be together. Maybe stay in bed, like the guy said. In the feminine subconscious, 4 of water, missing an opportunity, discontentment or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. In this position in particular, it's just like a really doubtful energy. Again, it's similar to the 6 of Cups in reverse. Like, you know, it never works. It's not going to work again. This is the same place. This is deja vu from hell. Same crap is going to happen again. And I know the feeling. I'm not, you know, being a judgment. So like judgment, the judgment card that was here before. I definitely know the feeling. It reminds me very much, very often, the 2 of Earth or 2 of Coins, Pentacles, is like the Rihanna song for me, Take a Bow. You know, like, this looks like a rerun. What else is on? Like, I'm so over this. Let me try to move on to something different. And so that's the feeling and the thought, the mindset of the feminine. We got to try to shake that off. Venus letting us know that she's going to be surrounding us. Crowning. The Knight of Air, who is intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. The Knight of Air can also be Venus in this situation. Venus, who this week, the week in which I'm doing this reading, the 24th to be exact, entered air sign Gemini, which she rules. So crossing the Queen of Earth, again, this can be her, both can be her. This can be her as Gemini, her as Libra, and her as Taurus. You know, so both of her, all of her elements, both of her energies coming together to facilitate the situation, bring about abundance and love and lucrative situations that help us to be able to move in together and not worry about money while we're trying to focus on love, not work too much. Maybe I don't need 2 jobs. Maybe I can cut back some of my hours, all those sort of things. Knight of Air can also, of course, be an actual Gemini that's impactful in the situation, your situation this week, Libra or Aquarius, or anybody likened to those traits or attributes, maybe with a lot of Venus and or Mercury or air in general in their chart. At the root, the 6 of Air. Nice. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. Maybe even taking a trip. This could be the weekend away. 6 of Air often is connected to an actual trip, and crossing the Queen of Earth, it's like the money to do it and things going on behind the scenes that help to facilitate you actually being able to take the trip. If it's not an actual trip, if it's more metaphorical, it's still movement forward. The 6 of Air is never movement backward, never movement toward something negative. It's always movement toward the positive. Things are definitely looking up. Things are getting better, just as our overall energy indicated and on both occasions and both spreads, right? It's the end of that a period of lack, and we're headed for a more prosperous, more lucrative, more abundant time. At the heart of the matter, the 3 of Water, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. Now we have 2 3s crossing one another. So again, for some people, this can have something to do with the 3rd energy. May have to do with a baby. We just had Tristan holding his baby on his chest. Again, the general reading, I speak a lot about babies. Some issues coming up for some of us regarding children. Can have to do with a love triangle. maybe more specifically involving a water sign. Maybe that's Scorpio, that I said could even be represented by the fire energy, since Scorpio is in part ruled by Mars. A fire sign, planet Jupiter, also in Scorpio right now. Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius. That's another reason why Scorpio could show up red this week. So this could definitely be representations of a water sign involved in a party of three. But it can be about celebration too, about, again, having renewed something and things getting better. So we're happy. The next card is upright. I think I'm going to use it to clarify. There's so many things that I am willing to clarify here. Let's look at the Three of Water first. Aw, see? Celebration of getting back together or something, or getting together, period. Or narrowing things down from a party of three after some contemplation. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, which the Queen of Earth is awesome at, and the positive resolution of a conflict. That could be about what the feminine needed to decide. In some cases, where the Two of Earth was a decision. Let us look at the masculine's Ten of Fire. Three of Earth. The power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So again, this talks about sharing the load and not carrying the whole burden by oneself. So that can be what this is here. Also, it can have to do with a party of three, a situation with a party of three, potentially. Maybe that Virgo energy that showed up here a couple of times. It's also about being rewarded for the work that we put in. That's what the Three of Earth is about. It's about abundance that's coming to us because we've earned it, because we put the work in. So again, that's reason to celebrate too. And it results in the Two of Water, perhaps, which it crosses. The next one is also upright. Why don't we take a look at the Hanged Man? Seven of Air. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye, and poor timing. Seven of Air showed up in the General too. Another card, another reason you may want to look at that one. Sitting here with the Hanged Man in this placement of the masculine subconscious. Some things just, again, that he needs to think about. This can be about lack of confidence, lack of esteem, some fear, and going after what he wants. But this is the opportunity to decide exactly what that is. What does he want? And to, muster the balls, for lack of a better word, to do that. And to not let himself rob himself of the chance to, have this. These two are in reverse. Might not even need to look at anything else. All right. For another bit of advice, I'm going to my angel therapy cards, and I'm beginning with crystals. The energy of crystals support you and helped you with your present situation. I started on Twin Flame. When I pulled the deck out and started shuffling, I started on Twin Flame. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. Twin Flame. Third eye chakra. It's safe for you to see the energy of love in all its forms, such as angels, auras, and visions. Third eye chakra. This can have something to do with the third energy too, or the threes that kept showing up here, right? That we got to look at things from a different perspective, look at things wholly and honestly. You may want to work with crystals, maybe specifically toward opening up the third eye chakra. so that we can see the energy of love. And opening to Ascended Masters. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over you. Ascended Masters are also represented by multiple 3s. So that could be another reason why this is showing up here. Ascended Masters and solar plexus chakra. It's safe for you to be powerful and to take charge of your life in positive ways. Ascended Masters. I'm going to cut. You are a powerful light worker. It's safe for you to be powerful. Your spiritual power brings you great blessings in loving service to the divine. And the overall energy is twin flame. The answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. Further to that, masculine, workshops and seminars. I told you the theme was work this week. Attending and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path and purpose. Be open to teaching and learning. Teaching and learning like the hermit, enlightenment. Be open to enlightenment and seek it. Feminine, cancel, clear, delete. Use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask the angels to cancel the effects of past negative thinking, to help us let go of that energy of the 9 of air, 9 of swords, to help us let go of that energy of the 6 of cups in reverse, where we're being, cynical and pessimistic. Cancel, clear, delete, all of that. I'm going to do the angel tarot next because the other deck could have something that I may want to read. If it's another major arcana card with another cute story, I may want to read it. So 5 of fire is back. There's definitely a need to clear out some energy. But again, this is also the energy of action for me. It's coming through with more positive as action, that Mars is driving you, masculine. So not necessarily about competing goals, bothersome details, or conflict with others. But if that comes up, you know how to defeat that. And you have the power to defeat that. And the strength. And feminine. Life experience or the tower, which again for me can represent the sign of Scorpio and and this is very positive here. We may have to first confront something that is scary or maybe not as positive, but then this is the end result. And obviously it's good. Something shakes up our life. Something turns us upside down. Something comes in unexpected, very, very swiftly. Maybe from a night of air, right? Night of air. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. Or maybe it is that Venus sends this energy. She's the night of air. So she causes something to happen very, very quickly in the area of love, which she rules. And now I want to also pick these up carefully because, again, reversals mean something in this deck. And it's the 3 of coins in reverse. Again, there can be a party of 3 from which someone is walking away, maybe with a direct earth sign in this case. Maybe that Virgo, or Virgo is walking, or other earth sign is walking away from somebody. Again, other than that, in the tarot, 3 of coins in reverse, not, necessarily a bad omen. This can be positive too. As it relates to love. As it relates to your money, you might not want to see coins in reverse. Some of you may be waiting on like the fruits of your labor. So you did put the work and you're waiting for the earnings to come in, whether that is money or something material, or that's the relationship or love. You're waiting for it to materialize is what that is too. And lastly, feminine, Princess of Cups in reverse. This is the Page of Cups in reverse. There is an offer of love coming. However, it is potentially delayed or something. So again, we're waiting on news. We're waiting on some sort of action, maybe from the Knight of Cups, from the masculine spread to come in. And maybe the fact that we're waiting for it is what's making us pessimistic and doubtful and cynical that it won't happen. because it just doesn't seem to be happening. We can't see it. We're not aware of the Ace of Wands being in play. And so we're thinking it's never going to happen, and that's causing us to think negatively. So don't. So now that you're aware that that could be happening, don't do that. Let's remain positive, and let's give the Knight of Cups a chance to pull up, as they say. I hope that you guys enjoy.